3 years after her husband left her with nothing, Elena received an invitation she never expected. It was from her ex-husband, Daniel. The message was short. "You are invited to our annual celebration. Please come. It would be nice for everyone to see how you are doing." Elena stared at the invitation for several seconds. She knew exactly what it meant. Daniel wasn't inviting her because he missed her. He wasn't inviting her because he wanted to apologize. He wanted to humiliate her. He wanted his wealthy friends and family to see the woman he had abandoned. The woman he believed had nothing. The woman he thought would still be struggling. But Daniel had no idea what was waiting for him. And when Elena finally walked through those grand doors, wearing a simple but elegant dress, 3 beautiful children beside her, the entire room went silent. Because the woman Daniel had thrown away was no longer the same woman. She had built a life he could never have imagined. And the biggest surprise was still waiting. Before we begin, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Now, let's begin this emotional story. 3 years earlier, Elena had stood outside Daniel's house with a small suitcase in her hand. She was 28 years old. She had no money. No job. No family nearby. And she was pregnant. Not with one baby. She was carrying triplets. Daniel stood in the doorway, looking at her without emotion. "I don't want this life anymore," he said. Elena could hardly believe what she was hearing. "You're leaving me now?" Daniel sighed. "I've met someone else." Elena's heart broke. She touched her stomach. "Our children need you." Daniel looked away. "I'll send some money when I can." Then he closed the door. Elena stood outside in the cold rain. She cried, but only for a few minutes. Then she wiped her face. She looked down at her stomach and whispered, "Don't worry. Mommy will take care of you." That night changed her forever. Elena moved into a tiny apartment on the edge of the city. The place had 1 bedroom, an old kitchen, and barely enough furniture to make it comfortable. But it was home. 2 months later, her triplets were born. 3 tiny babies. 2 girls and 1 boy. Sophia, Lily, and Noah. Elena held them one by one and cried tears of happiness. She had very little, but she had them. And that was enough. The first year was incredibly difficult. Elena worked from home whenever she could. She cooked meals for neighbors. She repaired clothes. She sold homemade cakes. Sometimes she worked until midnight while the babies slept beside her. There were nights when she was exhausted. There were mornings when she wondered how she would pay the next bill. But she never gave up. One afternoon, Elena was delivering a cake to a small business when the owner tasted it. "This is amazing," the woman said. "Do you make these yourself?" Elena nodded. The woman smiled. "I need someone to supply cakes for my cafe." That simple conversation changed Elena's life. She started supplying cakes. Then cookies. Then pastries. Soon, customers began asking where they could buy her desserts. Elena borrowed a small amount of money from a friend and opened a tiny bakery. She named it 3 Hearts Bakery. The name was inspired by her children. The business was not successful immediately. There were mistakes. There were bad months. There were times Elena thought about giving up. But every morning, when she saw Sophia, Lily, and Noah waiting for breakfast, she remembered why she had started. She kept going. Slowly, the bakery grew. 1 location became 2. 2 became 5. Then a local hotel placed a large order. A year later, Elena had 12 stores across the city. Her small bakery had become a respected food company. But Elena remained humble. She still arrived early. She still helped employees. And she never forgot the days when she had struggled. Meanwhile, Daniel's life looked perfect from the outside. He married the woman he had left Elena for. Her name was Victoria. Victoria came from a wealthy family. Daniel became part of her family's business. He drove expensive cars. He lived in a huge house. He attended fancy events. Everyone thought he had one. But Daniel wasn't happy. His marriage was filled with arguments. His business decisions were poor. And slowly, his financial situation became worse. Then one day, Daniel heard something that shocked him. Someone mentioned the name, Three Hearts Bakery. "Have you heard of the owner?" a businessman asked. "She's incredibly successful." Daniel barely listened. Then he saw Elena's name on a business document. His face changed. "Elena?" The businessman nodded. "Yes. She's worth a fortune now." Daniel couldn't believe it. The woman he had left with nothing was now more successful than he was. Instead of feeling ashamed, Daniel became jealous. He wanted to prove that he was still better. So he planned the invitation. He was hosting a huge celebration for his family and business partners. Daniel decided Elena should attend. He imagined her arriving in an old car. He imagined everyone laughing. He imagined Victoria making cruel comments. He wanted Elena to feel small. But Elena understood exactly what he was trying to do. She almost threw the invitation away. Then Noah walked into the room holding a drawing. "Mommy, look." Elena smiled. She looked at her son. Then at her daughters. She realized something. She wasn't going to the party for Daniel. She was going because she had nothing to be ashamed of. She had survived. She had built a business. She had raised 3 children. And she had done it without him. On the night of the celebration, Daniel stood near the entrance greeting guests. Luxury cars arrived one after another. People wore expensive clothes. Daniel smiled proudly. Then a black luxury vehicle stopped outside. The doors opened. Elena stepped out. She wasn't wearing anything flashy. Her dress was elegant and simple. But the confidence in her eyes made people turn their heads. Then 3 children stepped out beside her. Sophia, Lily, and Noah. They were dressed beautifully. Daniel froze. He had never met them properly. He stared at the 3 children. Then he looked at Elena. "Are those my children?" Elena said calmly. Daniel swallowed. "Our children?" Elena nodded. "Yes." For a moment, Daniel didn't know what to say. The room became unusually quiet. Victoria approached. She looked at Elena from head to toe. "You actually came." Elena smiled politely. "I was invited." Victoria laughed. "I thought you might be uncomfortable here." Before Elena could respond, one of the businessmen walked toward her. "Mrs. Elena Carter?" "Yes." He smiled. "It is an honor to finally meet you. We have been trying to arrange a partnership with your company for months." Daniel's expression changed. Victoria looked confused. "You know her?" The businessman laughed. "Everyone in the industry knows her." Another guest joined them. Then another. Soon Elena was surrounded by successful business owners who wanted to speak with her. Daniel stood several feet away, watching. His plan was collapsing. He had wanted people to laugh at Elena. Instead, they were admiring her. Then something unexpected happened. A waiter accidentally dropped a tray near Elena's children. Noah became frightened. Elena immediately knelt beside him. "It's okay. You're safe." Daniel watched silently. He suddenly realized how much he had missed. First words. First steps. Birthdays. School events. Sick nights. Every moment. He had chosen to walk away. And now these children didn't know him. Daniel approached slowly. Noah? The boy looked at him. Who are you? The question hit Daniel harder than any insult. He looked at Elena. She didn't say anything. Daniel lowered his eyes. I'm your father. Noah looked confused. Then he quietly moved closer to Elena. Daniel felt his heart sink. Later that evening, Daniel found Elena alone on the balcony. I didn't expect you to become this successful, he admitted. Elena looked toward the city lights. You didn't expect me to survive. Daniel remained silent. I was wrong, he said. Yes, Elena replied. I treated you terribly. Yes. I was selfish. Yes. Daniel looked at her. Can you forgive me? Elena took a deep breath. I already did. Daniel looked surprised. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. He lowered his head. I want to know my children. Elena looked at him carefully. You can try. But being their father isn't something you earn by saying a few words tonight. Daniel nodded. I understand. For the first time, he wasn't angry. He wasn't proud. He was simply ashamed. Years passed. Daniel slowly became part of his children's lives. He learned to show up. He attended school events. He remembered birthdays. He listened. And Elena never stopped him from being their father as long as he treated the children with love and respect. She could have destroyed him. She could have embarrassed him publicly. She could have reminded everyone how he had abandoned her. But she didn't. She chose kindness. Not because Daniel deserved it. But because Elena refused to let his cruelty turn her into a cruel person. One evening, Daniel visited Three Hearts Bakery. He saw Elena working with her employees. The children were doing homework at a nearby table. Daniel smiled. You really built all this? Elena looked around. Yes. Daniel nodded. I used to think money made people powerful. And now? He smiled sadly. Now I think character does. Elena smiled. That's something worth learning. Daniel looked at the children. They're lucky to have you. Elena looked at her triplets. No, she said softly. I'm the lucky one. And that was the truth. The woman Daniel once believed was powerless had become stronger than he ever imagined. She didn't become rich because she wanted revenge. She became successful because she refused to give up. Her greatest victory wasn't the money. It wasn't the business. It wasn't watching Daniel feel embarrassed. Her greatest victory was waking up every morning knowing she had created a safe and loving life for her children. Sometimes, people walk away from us thinking they are destroying our future. But they may only be making room for us to build a better one. Elena lost a husband. But she found her strength. She lost a home. But she built a company. She lost someone who didn't value her. But she gained 3 beautiful children who gave her a reason to keep going. And when Daniel invited her to humiliate her, he never imagined that she would arrive with the greatest proof of all. She had survived. She had grown. She had succeeded. And most importantly, she had remained kind. Never underestimate someone because of where they are today. You never know what they are fighting through. And you never know what they might become tomorrow. Sometimes the person you think has lost everything is actually building something far greater than you can see. So choose kindness. Choose courage. And never give up on yourself. Because the best revenge isn't hurting someone who hurt you. The best revenge is becoming so strong, peaceful, and successful that their opinion no longer controls your life.